Hello, Daniel. We don't have Craig with us this week. We're the Unbiased Opinion. And in honor of the new Karate Kid coming out, which is called Karate Kid Legends, it's coming out by the time this episode is out, the movie would have been released. We're taking a look at the Karate Kid from 2010, starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. Now, Daniel, with all that being said, what did you
Yes.
think of the Karate
Oh,
Kid
yeah.
2010?
I think I remember liking it more when I first saw it, when it originally came out in 2010. I hadn't seen it in a while, so rewatching it, I enjoyed it, but overall, it's okay. There's parts I enjoyed, some parts I don't care for or really kind of skip through. But overall, it was a competent, entertaining film.
Okay, like you, I saw this in the theaters too, I remember. And I don't really like it. I think we'll talk about general stuff and then we'll talk about what. There's some things that this movie did do better than the original, but it is largely derivative.
Yeah.
There's really no point to it. And the
Mhm.
only reason why we're covering it is because it is
Yeah.
now part of the Miyagi-Verse. Because originally this was supposed to be a standalone, what's the word? It was supposed to be not a reboot, but it had no connection to Ralph Macchio and Mr. Miyagi doing crane kicks. And I think
Yeah.
the worst thing about this movie is that it's not karate. It's kung fu, which we call it the Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah, that is probably the biggest problem for this film is that it ties itself to something that it's derivative, but it isn't really connected to it. It is its own thing. There are parts it takes from the original one, but like you said, it takes place in China and it's about kung fu, not karate. Rewatching this one, obviously I enjoy it because Jackie Chan's in it, and I'm a huge
Of
Jackie
course.
Chan fan. But after seeing COBRA Kai and how they expanded that universe, this one really, looking back, you're like, why was this made? There really wasn't a point to it because they also didn't do anything with it. It's just there.
I think they just wanted to use Jackie Chan. I think that is the only reason why.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they got me when I originally went to see this because Jackie Chan was in it. So it was a smart marketing tool on their part.
I'm gonna do something that's
And
different. Oh yeah,
truth be told,
there you go. Finish your stream.
well, I was gonna say, truth be told, the parts that I really enjoyed really were just Jackie Chan.
Yes, so I was gonna say, I think one of the very few things that this movie does do better than the original is that first off, the kung fu action is a lot better than the original, and that kind of goes without
Mm.
saying because not only was Jackie Chan probably directly involved with the action scenes, but the first movie came out in 1984, and choreography back then isn't what it is now, at least for
Yeah,
American movies, because Jackie Chan was doing his crazy choreography stuff in the 70s, 80s, 90s. But in America,
yeah,
they weren't doing that stuff. So the choreography between the first one and this one, the first one is so quaint compared to this. And I think also what I liked is that
yeah,
Jackie Chan didn't beat up a bunch of kids like how Miyagi did. He didn't batter any children. When he was fighting them, when he saved
yeah,
Dre, he was making them hit each other. So I think that's good because you look back and the idea of this old man just beating up children is not only comical but it is illegal. That always gets a kick out of me, but it was a lot better done in this.
yeah. Originally watching it, and now I always like that part where he was using their own way against them, and he's not beating. He understands that they're children, and he's a
Yes.
grown man.
Well, they actually look
So
like children in this. In the original
yeah,
Karate Kid, they all were more teenagers, adults. Ralph Macchio was in his 20s, and he
yeah.
looked
But
like
he,
a
he's always
14-year-old.
looked young.
Yeah.
The two scenes that always stuck out to me in this, I thought, were the best two scenes. I like that where he fights the kids, but he's directing them at each other and not hitting them. Because I liked in that scene too, where you see Mr. Han and his self control, where he has the one kid at his mercy and just lets him go, and then the other kid comes and hits him, and he directs his slap into the kid.
It's
Or
not
he
like
flips the
Mr.
one kid into the
Miyagi
wheelbarrow.
kicking one of those guys in the
Yeah.
crotch when he has them at their mercy.
And the other scene I thought they was done very well. Might have been I think probably the best scene of the movie, and also the heart of the movie was Mr. Hans, where he's destroying the car,
Yeah, that was
and
more
Jaden Smith
developed
comes
in this
in
one.
and sees him, very emotional, very well acted out by Jackie Chan, I would
Yeah,
say, and
he brought the tears
Jaden Smith
out.
didn't do too much. Yeah,
But he's
but
a kid.
I always thought that scene was done very well. Might have been the best scene in the film, and then it also shows their relationship where he picks up Mr. Han and they start training just to keep him to focus
Ooh.
and get his mind off it. So I
I
thought
remember, yeah, I
that was
remember I
done
was going
very
to
well.
say what was better in this one, and it was the kids and all the people who were doing kung fu karate. They definitely looked the part. Jaden Smith looked really good with his kung fu moves and him doing a split.
Yeah.
And he looked, listen, I'm sure he did extensive training. He did a lot more training than Ralph Macchio, I'll tell you that.
Oh
It all
yeah,
looked
yeah.
convincing, and that's probably the only thing. Jackie Chan and everything looking convincing is probably what this movie has over the original, but the original does everything else better. Even the love interest, I didn't really care for Dre's friend, who kind of friend
Yeah,
zones him at the end. I
yeah.
forget her
That
name, Mei Ying.
it seems better that he wouldn't have a love interest.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
he's a
focused
kid.
on
Yeah.
overcoming these bullies in front of him.
Yeah, they should have cut it out though, just that whole subplot, because
Yeah,
the movie is long. It is 140 minutes
it
long.
is. Yeah,
I think also, oh, another thing too. I'm mixed on the training montages because the whole jacket thing was a little silly. At least wax on, wax off. That montage felt like it went on for days. I don't know. I didn't like the pick up the jacket and then all of a sudden from just doing that he's able to fight off Jackie Chan. Because at least in the Karate Kid, the first one, it was multiple techniques he was learning by doing manual labor for Miyagi, and then Miyagi says, "Show me this," and then he was doing his karate stuff. But in this one, it's just one move, and all of a sudden he has all the reflexes and he has the timing. It doesn't work like that. It's a movie.
they could have shown he blocks the first shot, and he maybe gets a little too confident, and then Jackie Chan strikes him, and is like, "All right, we still got a ways to go."
I don't think they
Because
want to
he
see
started
him hit a
training.
kid.
They didn't have to necessarily beat him up, Mr. Miyagi, but but the ending tournament I thought was done well.
It was a little
But
silly.
yeah, and I think with this movie, they definitely could have trimmed down. They could have cut out the romance stuff because that whole scene where he takes her away from practice and they go to the arcade, they
Yes,
could have cut
yes.
that. That was awkward. That scene where
Oh,
they're
the best
doing
of
dances
2010.
and she's dancing to Lady Gaga.
Yeah, straight out of a middle school dance.
Yeah,
I was gonna say also the ending
and
tournament.
it doesn't have the '80s schlock charm
yeah.
to it.
The ending tournament was so ridiculous with the presentation. Not the fights or whatever, but it was a UFC fight with the cameras and the replays. That's what was going on in my head. It was like an actual professional tournament, not some little thing with kids doing karate. That's a nitpick, but I was getting a
And
chuckle
they
out of it.
showing the knockout, they zoom in on the kid's face.
Because I'm thinking,
Because the
I
one
don't see the
knockout,
cameras out there. I don't see the cameras close up to the stage. Jackie Chan definitely knows his kung fu, and it's way more convincing than the stunt double that they used for Miyagi in the first movie. Because we all know that wasn't Pat Morita that was doing those moves. The presentation of the movie is fine. It's just, it is unnecessary. And
Yeah.
the stuff that they did copy, they didn't make it better. Or they didn't make most of it better. Because I do think Mr. Miyagi's iconic. Don't get me wrong. But Mr. Han is better than Mr. Miyagi, at least in terms of looking the part with being like agile enough and knowing the moves. That looked the part.
Speaking of things they took from the first one, what did you think of instead of the hands clapping and him rubbing, they did the ancient Chinese healing with the fire?
Yeah, that's fine.
like,
Listen,
bulbs.
they're in China. It's not like they're in Australia and then he pulls out this weird Chinese thing. I don't know. It works. They're in China. Mr. Han is Chinese. It's perfectly fine. It wasn't he pulled out a weird technique that didn't match anything? Imagine he said, "Oh, I have this Alaskan technique that," and you're like, "What? How does he know that? What Alaskan? A Russian? Something crazy."
You look back on this film, it does anything necessarily horrible. It's just like we said,
The first one did it better.
it doesn't. There's a few things it does better than the original, but
I do think Dre was a little annoying when he's trying to show off in front of the girl. Now listen, I know he's a kid, and I know kids do that, but it was still kind of giving me a little secondhand embarrassment when he was busting out his dance moves and he was saying to those old Chinese guys when he was trying to do ping pong. It's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that."
Well, I will say they definitely made the bullies in this much more brutal because when he gets beat up in the park, it is much more ruthless.
Yeah.
The kid flips him, is kicking him,
Yeah.
punches him directly in the face while he's down.
That's what I mean when the presentation is better, but by that logic, it should be because the first one came out in '84 and this is in 2010. So everything should look better, and it does. It's just that's not enough to make it better than the original. Because as you said earlier, the original had that '80s charm, that '80s cheese that we all love, and we weren't born in the '80s, so it means nothing to us because it's not like we're nostalgic for that era. But it's so charming, and when you have You're the Best playing when you're in a karate tournament in the first movie, that is awesome. Just makes you smile. In this one, it's just not the same. They couldn't capture the same charm.
Because what did you think of when they go up the hill to get to the Dragon Well and he sees the lady with the cobra? That's where he learns instead of doing the crane kick. Because I know I was reading that was a little nod that they didn't do the crane kick, but that was the style, was called crane.
Listen, it's a fine inclusion because the crane kick is the most telegraphed thing ever, so I guess they wanted to make it a little more spicy and better. Listen, they utilized the athletic ability of Shade Smith.
Weird.
They utilized that fine. He looked the part. He was very good with his training. Ralph Macchio probably could never do a split and get those high kicks like he did when he kicked that sandbag up in the air, and then it transitioned to the trophy. Yeah. What else do you think about this?
Yeah. Did you know that there was a scene cut in the final tournament?
Mr. Han fights Master Lee that they
Mr.
cut.
Han.
I didn't watch that clip, but I think I saw the clip years ago on YouTube. I was going to bring that up, and then I forgot, so it's a good thing you brought it up.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it'd be kind of silly watching two grown men fight.
I understand why they cut it. You don't want to take away from Dre and the whole tournament. Like you said, it would be silly. They go from this kid overcoming his bullies and winning this epic tournament to now Mr. Han and Master Lee fighting in the stands.
Yeah, it's a little silly. And I'm glad not even the original Karate Kid or even Part 2 did that. They had that silly scene. Because what does it really accomplish if Mr. Han just beats up this guy? Nothing. He just beat up a guy in front of a room full of people. If it was in the universe, if it was silly like Karate Kid, where it was more lighthearted, you could get away with it. But this one was more serious. It wasn't as charming or cheesy as the original Karate Kid. If something like that happened in Cobra Kai, you would want it. But in this, where they play it straight and it's very serious, it wouldn't fit. If I was in that audience, I'd probably be laughing.
Over in the universe where two 80-year-old men slug it down on a yacht and blow it up.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, in this one, it would have not really felt.
The fan of me wants it in the film just because it's Jackie Chan fighting. Story-wise, I understand why you cut it out. It would have been silly. Because he says the line, no such thing as bad student, bad teacher. He already beat Master Lee by having a student beat his student's training. So that's the whole point. But it just, I know myself, you want to just see Jackie Chan fight. So it's always fun using furniture and stuff. But it would have been silly or definitely taken away.
The ending didn't feel as deserved as it did in the '84 one when the little kid, the bully, Chang, he gives Dre the trophy, and it was a lot better in the '84 one. You're all right, LaRusso. Good match. And this one, he just taps him on the shoulder and gives him the trophy.
Yeah.
Little touches like that go a long way.
And that's the thing, too, where they missed an opportunity. I would say give more of a reason with the '84 one. Give a reason why the bullies are just going after him. Because not that it was right what Johnny and them were doing to Daniel, but he thought he's trying to butt in with him and his girl, so he goes after him and it starts this thing. There at least is some causality. There really isn't a reason for them to come after him.
Yeah, they're kind of just picking on him for the sake of it.
There should have been more. Yeah, there should have been more of a reason why they go after him. And I think then you set up for the bigger payoff in the end of he earns their respect other than they just like beating him up. That was probably their biggest miss on this movie. Cut out the love interest and then give more of a reason why the bullies are actually going after Dre other than they saw him breakdancing in front of some girl in the park.
They just don't like breakdancing. Maybe in China, communist China, it is illegal for breakdance. Yeah, I don't know if I have too much.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to say on this one. It's there. Jackie Chan is a bright spot as usual, and that's about it.
Yeah, because everything it is almost shameful territory where I know it's a a remake of the original one, but they didn't really change a whole lot aside from the setting and the age of the characters. That's really all they did. And you could argue, oh, maybe the change of setting is a big one, but not really when the same events happen in a different setting. There's nothing significant that really happens. I mean, Mr. Han takes Dre to this old Chinese temple or whatever that was. They didn't have that in California. But yeah, other than that, the things that they did shamelessly rehash, the original one did it better, except the presentation, the fight scenes, and I do think Jackie Chan is better than Miyagi. I don't know if that's controversial to say, but not Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Han definitely had a lot more to do.
Are you talking in terms of
strict Karate Kid
like overall character, or in terms of casting?
Just the character. Just comparing the original Karate Kid, not including any of the other ones in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Just the first one and the 2010 one. They definitely gave Mr. Han a lot more to do, and I appreciate that. I thought Dre was a little annoying. You can never beat Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, Daniel LaRacist, but...
or Johnny Lawrence as an antagonist.
Yeah. Because I guess the biggest takeaway is that the reason why the original one is so beloved is because it's so charming. It's cheesy, it's predictable, but it's charming. And this movie does not have that charm because they play it 100% straight. And I think you have to have an understanding that with a story that is as predictable as The Karate Kid, you have to have more fun with it. And this is just going to be a tiny segue from what we've seen. Again, as of this recording, Karate Kid Legends has not come out yet. But from the trailers we have seen, it looks like the exact same movie as the first one. So who knows? Maybe is it the second time we get a rehash of the original one? Who knows? But I'm curious to see it because they bring back Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso reunite to teach some kid karate, and he's learning kung fu too. What are you gonna say, Daniel?
Oh, it was not on that. It was more of the 2010 one where you're talking about. They missed a huge opportunity. Jackie Chan is known for his physical comedy. This film, it definitely...
Well, I was
surprised they made him more serious when he could have...
It would have felt so out of place.
I feel like they could have had more fun with it, especially given Jackie Chan, who's known to be more fun with his movies.
He was depressed in this one.
I'm curious, but she did a good job. I am curious, though, how Mr. Han is going to go all the way to Cali to get Daniel LaRusso.
I think they're in New York.
To come help him train a student.
Well, Daniel, you know what they say. There's only one way to find out. I think the movie takes place in New York. But do you have anything else to say about The Karate Kid 2010, which is now part of the Miyagi-Verse?
It's a competent film, kind of forgettable outside of Jackie Chan. If you're a Jackie Chan fan, enjoy. Other than that, you can skip.
Yeah, you don't really need to see it. It's derivative. If you've seen the first one, you've already seen it. First one is still better, even with our positives of Jackie Chan and everything else, and the fight scenes. But Daniel, with all that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion. Everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
And I'm Sensei Daniel.
And we will see you next week for The Karate Kid Legends.